Welcome to User Lifecycle Management. Managing user access from start to finish. This means handling everything from when a user first needs system access until they no longer require it. For instance, when a new employee joins, you grant them appropriate access, adjust it as their role changes, and finally revoke access when they leave the company. This ensures security and efficiency throughout the entire user lifecycle. Follows employee journey: joining, changing roles, leaving. This means the system manages a user's access from their first day, through any job changes, until their departure. For example, when an employee joins, they automatically get access to necessary apps and data. This ensures security and access rights are always aligned with their current employment status. Keeps your SAP BTP environment secure and compliant. This means it manages user access and permissions to prevent unauthorized use and meet regulatory standards. For example, it automatically removes access for employees who leave the company. This continuous oversight ensures your platform remains protected and follows all required rules. We will learn through practical scenarios. This means instead of just theory, you will apply concepts hands-on. For example, you will practice adding a new employee to your SAP system and assigning their access rights. This approach ensures you gain real skills you can immediately use in your daily work. Why user lifecycle management matters. Prevents security gaps when people join or leave. This ensures access is granted only when needed and revoked immediately when no longer required. For example, when an employee leaves the company, their system access is automatically removed, preventing unauthorized entry. This proactive control is essential for maintaining a secure and compliant environment. Ensures users have only the access they need. This means preventing users from seeing or changing data unrelated to their job. For example, a payroll clerk should access salary details but not sales forecasts. This principle of least privilege protects sensitive information and reduces security risks, keeping your organization compliant and secure. Maintains compliance with company policies. This ensures all user access follows your organization's rules, like granting only necessary permissions. For instance, when an employee changes roles, their access is automatically updated to match their new duties. Proper lifecycle management keeps your business secure and audit ready. Creates clear audit trails for reviews. This means every user action is automatically logged with details like who did what and when. For example, when an auditor checks who accessed financial reports last quarter, the system provides a complete, tamper-proof history. This ensures compliance and accountability are always verifiable. Access the SAP Business Technology Platform Cockpit to begin. Log into your SAP BTP account. This means accessing the central web interface where you manage all your cloud services. For example, a developer would enter their credentials to reach their account dashboard and begin configuring applications. This initial step is essential for utilizing the platform's full capabilities. Navigate to the global account view. This means selecting your main account to see all its resources and sub-accounts. For instance, a project manager would do this first to oversee all their different development projects. This initial step is essential for managing your entire BTP landscape effectively. Select your sub-account. This means choosing the specific workspace where your applications and services will run. For example, if your company has separate development and production environments, you would pick the development sub-account to begin your work. This action directs you to the correct environment for managing your solutions. Click on Security Users in the left menu. This lets you manage who can access your SAP BTP account and services. For instance, you can add a new developer to your team by creating their user profile here. This step is essential for controlling and organizing access to your cloud resources effectively. Onboarding, adding new team members. Identify what access the new user needs. This means determining the specific systems, tools, and data the person requires to perform their job. For example, a new developer needs access to the BTP sub-account and development tools, but not financial reports. Clearly defining these permissions ensures the user is productive while maintaining security. Collect user email and basic information. This means gathering essential details like their full name, email address, and role before they can access the platform. For example, when a new developer joins, you would request their corporate email and job title. This initial step ensures they receive the correct system access and permissions. We will add them to SAP BTP in the next slides. This means we will grant your new colleagues access to our cloud platform so they can start working with you. For instance, when a new developer joins, we give them permissions to develop and test applications. Let's walk through the steps to get them set up properly. Think about their job role and required tools. This means identifying what tasks they will perform and which SAP BTP services they will need access to. For example, a developer building an app would need the Business Application Studio and access to specific development accounts. Proper tool alignment ensures they can start contributing effectively from day one. Step-by-step guide to adding a new user. In Users section, click Add User. This means you go to the area where all users are listed and select the button to create a new one. For instance, when a new employee joins your company, you would perform this action to grant them access. This simple step initiates the process of onboarding a new team member into the system. Enter user's email address. This means typing the person's unique email, which will serve as their login ID for the system. For instance, when adding a new team member, you would enter john.doe@company.com. This step is fundamental for establishing their digital identity and access within the platform. Assign appropriate role collections. This means giving users only the permissions they need to do their job, like keys to specific rooms. For example, a salesperson gets access to customer data but not payroll systems. This keeps your system secure and users productive with the right tools. Click Add to create the user. This means you will press the Add button to start setting up a new person in the system. For instance, when a new employee joins your company, you use this to give them access. This simple action is your starting point for granting system access. User receives invitation email. This means the system automatically sends them a formal email to join. For example, when a new accountant is hired, they get an email with a link to set up their BT account. This ensures they can securely access the platform and begin their assigned tasks immediately. Managing role changes confidently and effectively. Users often change jobs or responsibilities. This means their required system access can shift over time. For instance, a salesperson promoted to sales manager now needs approval authority, not just order entry. Regularly updating user roles ensures access aligns with current duties and security. Review and update their access regularly. This means periodically checking and adjusting user permissions to match current job duties. For example, if an employee moves from sales to finance, their old sales system access should be removed and new financial reporting roles assigned. This ongoing process keeps your systems secure and access appropriate. Remove old roles they no longer need. This means cleaning up user permissions so they only have access to what's necessary for their current job. For example, if an employee moves from sales to marketing, you must revoke their old sales system access. This practice is essential for maintaining a secure and compliant system. Add new roles for their current work. This means when employees take on new tasks, you assign them the necessary SAP BTP permissions. For example, if someone now handles data analysis, grant them the data analyst role. This ensures they have the correct access to perform their job effectively and securely. Updating user roles in SAP BTP. Find the user in the users list. This means you locate the specific person in your system's directory of all registered users. For example, to update Sarah's role, you first search for her name in the list of users. This initial step is essential for managing any user's permissions accurately. Click on their name to view details. This means selecting a user's name to open a screen showing their specific role assignments and permissions. For instance, if you need to check what access Maria has, you click her name to see her exact roles. This action provides the necessary information to accurately proceed with any required updates. Under Role Collections, click Edit. This means selecting the Edit option to modify existing role permissions. For example, if a new employee needs invoice approval access, you'd edit the Finance Approver role collection to add this. This simple action ensures users have the precise access required for their duties. Add or remove roles as needed. This means you can adjust user permissions to match their current job duties. For example, if an employee moves from sales to finance, you remove their sales role and add the finance role. This ensures users always have appropriate access to perform their work efficiently. Save changes to update access. This means you must confirm your role modifications to apply them. For instance, after granting a user permission to view sales reports in the SAP system, you click Save to activate this new access. Always remember to save to ensure your changes take effect. Offboarding, managing user departures securely and efficiently. Important to remove access promptly. This means immediately revoking system permissions when employees depart. For example, when a developer resigns, their BTP account access should be terminated on their last day. This prevents potential security risks and ensures only authorized personnel can interact with company systems and data. Prevents unauthorized system access. This means removing user permissions when someone departs, so they cannot log into systems they should not. For example, when an employee resigns, their access to internal financial reports is immediately revoked. This is a fundamental security step to protect company data. Maintains clean user records. This means removing access for former users so your system only shows current, active people. For example, when an employee resigns, their user account is deactivated. This keeps your user directory accurate and secure, preventing any unauthorized access and ensuring compliance. Follows company security policies. This means removing access according to your organization's specific rules for departing employees. For example, when an employee resigns, their access to development projects is immediately revoked as per the policy. Adhering to these procedures is essential for maintaining a secure environment. Step-by-step, deactivating a user in the system. Locate the user in the users list. This means finding the specific person you need by searching or scrolling through all registered users. For example, if you want to deactivate John Doe, you would open the list and find his name. This is the essential first step to ensure you are managing the correct individual. Click the three dots next to their name. This opens a menu with more options for that user. For instance, to temporarily suspend an intern's access, you would find their name in the list and click these dots to find the deactivation option. This simple action is your starting point for managing user access securely. Select Delete from the menu. This means you choose the delete option that appears in the list of actions for that user. For example, if you need to remove access for someone who has left the company, you would find their account and select Delete. This action permanently removes the user from the system. Confirm the deletion. This is the final step where you verify your intent to permanently remove the user's access. For instance, after selecting to delete a former contractor's account, a pop-up will ask for confirmation. Always double-check the user ID before proceeding, as this action is irreversible. User access is immediately removed. This means the moment you deactivate the user, their permission to log in and use any services is revoked right then. For example, if a developer leaves the company, deactivating them instantly blocks their access to development systems. This ensures security is enforced without any delay. Audit logs for compliance and security. SAP BTP keeps records of all user changes. This means any action you perform, like creating or modifying services, is automatically logged and stored. For example, if a developer adjusts security settings, that action is recorded. This ensures a transparent and verifiable history of all activities for compliance purposes. You can review who made what changes. This means the system tracks user actions, showing exactly who performed each task and what they modified. For example, if an employee updates a customer's credit limit, you will see their name, the change made, and the timestamp. This transparency is essential for maintaining accountability and trust in your processes. Helps with security investigations. This means when suspicious activity occurs, audit logs provide a detailed trail to trace what happened. For example, if someone accesses unauthorized data, logs show who accessed it, when, and from where. This evidence is essential for resolving security incidents effectively. Supports compliance requirements. This means it helps your organization meet legal and audit rules by securely recording system activities. For instance, when an employee accesses sensitive financial data, the audit log captures who, when, and what was done. This documented proof is essential for demonstrating adherence to regulations. Regular access reviews for enterprise security compliance. Schedule periodic user access reviews. This means routinely checking who has access to what within your SAP systems to ensure only the right people have necessary permissions. For instance, a company might review access every quarter to verify that former employees' accounts are deactivated. Consistently doing this helps prevent unauthorized access and strengthens your security posture. Check if users still need their current roles. This means periodically verifying that each person's access permissions are still necessary for their job. For example, an employee who moved from finance to sales should not retain financial reporting roles. This practice keeps access aligned with current responsibilities and reduces risk. Remove unused or unnecessary access. This means revoking system permissions that employees no longer need for their current roles. For instance, if someone moves from finance to HR, their old financial data access should be removed. Consistently doing this reduces security risks and keeps your systems compliant. Keep your environment clean and secure. This means regularly checking who has access to your systems and removing it when it is no longer needed. For example, when an employee changes departments, you should revoke their old access rights. This simple practice is a fundamental step in protecting your company's data and applications. Emergency access removal is now in effect. Sometimes you need immediate action. This means when a security threat arises, you cannot wait for standard approval processes. For example, if an employee is unexpectedly terminated, their system access must be instantly revoked to prevent data theft. Taking swift steps like this is essential for maintaining system integrity. Follow the same deactivation steps. This means you use the exact process to remove emergency access as you would to deactivate a standard user account. For example, if you normally revoke system permissions via the admin console, do precisely that for emergency accounts. Consistently applying this procedure ensures security and prevents oversights. Document the reason for emergency removal. This means you must write down why the emergency access is being taken away. For example, if an employee resigns, you document that their access is removed to prevent unauthorized actions after departure. This creates a clear, traceable record for security and compliance. Notify relevant team members. This means informing security and IT staff when emergency access is being removed so they can update their monitoring and support procedures. For example, when decommissioning firefighter IDs in SAP, alert your GRC team to adjust their controls. Clear communication ensures everyone maintains proper security oversight. Best Practices Summary: Key Recommendations for Success. Add users with only necessary access. This means assigning the minimum permissions required for each person's role. For example, a sales analyst should not have access to modify financial records. This reduces security risks and ensures users can perform their duties effectively without unnecessary exposure to sensitive data. Always apply this principle to maintain a secure and compliant environment. Update roles when jobs change. This means adjusting user permissions whenever their responsibilities shift, ensuring they only have access needed for current tasks. For example, if someone moves from sales to HR, remove customer data access and add employee records permissions. This practice maintains security and prevents unauthorized data exposure. Remove access promptly when users leave. This means immediately revoking system permissions when employees depart. For example, when someone resigns, their SAP BTP account access should be deactivated on their last day. This simple step is critical for protecting your company's data and maintaining security compliance. Review user access regularly. This means periodically checking who has permissions to use your SAP BTP applications and data. For example, when an employee moves to a different department, you should verify and update their access rights. This simple habit is fundamental for protecting your company's sensitive information and maintaining a secure cloud environment. Keep good records for audits. This means maintaining clear, organized documentation of all your SAP BTP activities. For example, track who accessed specific data and when, using built-in logs. This practice ensures you can quickly provide evidence during compliance checks, protecting your organization from potential fines and demonstrating responsible data management. You are ready to manage user life cycles. You can now handle user onboarding. This means you can set up new users with the right access when they join. For example, when a new developer starts, you can quickly grant them development tools and project permissions. This foundational skill ensures smooth and secure project team integration. You can manage role changes effectively. This means adjusting user permissions when their job duties change. For example, when an employee moves from sales to finance, you can remove their old sales roles and assign new finance roles in the system. This ensures users always have the correct access for their current position. You understand offboarding procedures. This means securely removing access when users leave projects or the company. For example, when an employee resigns, you revoke their system authorizations so they can no longer log in. Proper offboarding ensures data security and compliance are maintained after a user departs. You know how to maintain security and compliance. This means you can keep your applications and data safe from unauthorized access while following legal rules. For example, you can automatically deactivate user accounts when an employee leaves the company. This control is fundamental for protecting your business.